And the more things you leave off screen, the more you're asking of your audience to think. So it's about how to not fall into a language that is about over informing your audience, and how to leave things off screen and tell a story with the camera, not cover a story.
Mounia.
Hello.
Hello, thank you so much for coming in. I feel funny thanking you when I've got my co-host with me.
Well, what do you mean? Why do you feel funny?
It's ours, it's not just mine.
Yeah, but well, go on.
Anyway, thank you so much.
You've done such a good job so far.
God, I'm so rubbish at trying to be professional. Thank you so much.
That's why we love you.
Just wigging it. Right, I think we should all talk about how we know each other first. I think that's probably the best place to start. So,
Yeah. Well,
I know Mounia through Phil.
yes. I met Mounia on a Zoom. So we were looking for another director for Boiling Point, the TV series. And I'd recently watched Costa Brava, Lebanon, which Mounia directed and wrote. And I thought it was incredible. And I thought I need to speak to her. And so we got on a Zoom. And she made me feel very uncomfortable. For the first time. I was supposed to be like interviewing her, and I remember she asked me this question. She's like, tell me something about you that makes you, what was it now? I just was like, wow.
Oh my God, I don't even remember.
Yeah. It was like, I remember being like, wow, she's great.
Yeah. She's my kind of person.
Yeah. But and then we sort of hit it off there, didn't we? And then
Yeah, it's funny because I got a call from my agent here, who is here in London, and she told me like there's this team that wants to talk to you. Is the team who did the movie Boiling Point, which of course I had loved, and because it was a very unique thing in its time, so it really stood out because of that. And so I watched the film again, and then I read what you had sent me, which was like the character descriptions of the characters from the movies that you were developing into the TV show. And I remember being like, I'm here in New York. I had no plans to come to the UK or to work in TV as well. But because it was, Stephen Graham, Hannah, Phil, it was like a film team wanting to turn their baby into a show. It just felt very different than. So I got on a call with him and I hung up. I was like, shit, I have a feeling like I'm going to be leaving New York. Because it felt so nice.
I smashed that interview.
No, it's not because of that, because I met with Phil and then I met with Stephen and Hannah and Hester. So we did like this first call, director. And it was just so nice. It felt like such a nice conversation between two people who never get to really work together. Of course. Directors never work together. And I hung up and then we spoke again with Stephen and Hannah. That meeting was insane.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
I was like, it's the least professional meeting I've ever. It was like so like human and full of life and completely bonkers. And I remember hanging up and feeling like we're made of similar things and just felt really real. And the conversation didn't feel like a general meeting at all. It felt like just people who just really want to tell stories and have fun. And then one thing led to another. I ended up doing Boiling Point. And
you did?
And this team was basically my first link into the TV world in London, which was also interesting to me because they were trying to do something different in that world, which is why it interested me so much in the first place.
And then how did you find going from film, like writing and directing your own films, to directing somebody else's baby? I know, like, obviously the team made you feel incredibly comfortable and welcomed you in with open arms, but did it still feel a bit weird to direct something that wasn't yours and in a different format?
I mean, obviously, as a writer, director, I also fall in love with books and with other stories, and it's about, so I enjoy directing something that I haven't written if there's a real connection with the material. And on the day I had a call with Phil, we discussed all the episodes. And one of the episodes was about a woman who struggles, who basically discovers that she has, Crohn's in this case. And I was taking the meeting from a friend's house who had just been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. So I had been spending a week with a friend who was coming to terms with something that was going to change her life on some level. And there was so much in common between my friend and Robin's character, played by Anya, that there's like right away, if you're directing something that isn't written by you, you try to find a real connection to the material or to the team, and if you don't, then you're not the right person for it. And in this case, there were many little things that it felt like these two characters I feel like I can give a lot of love to, and I was very honest about which ones I didn't think I was the right one for, and it happened to be the ones you were really excited about.
Yeah.
But of course, Phil and the team made me feel like they really wanted me to come and do my own thing within the world that was designed by him and Matt.
Well, I think like the usual format for telly is, you know, you'll have the lead director who'll set up the show, set up the style,
spend all the money,
spend all the money on the pilot.
Yeah.
You know, set the whole thing up, cast the you know the main sort of characters, and then the second block director and third block director, if there is one, will come in later and they'll just follow suit kind of thing. Obviously, there's times when you can put your own spin on it. But we wanted this to be different because obviously Mounia is an auteur as well and has had an incredible vision and also was very like passionate about the characters when we had our first Zoom, which was amazing. For me, you know, this was my baby and she felt like she was going to nurture that as we were. And so I wanted her to be involved in all of the prep from day one.
Which is really unusual.
Well, that's what I mean. And that's what, you know, what Moonia's saying there about trying to change it a little bit in terms of what the rules are.
Mm-hmm.
And so having Mounia there, and we were side by side, right, the whole time, and we were casting together and we were, you know, we were coming up with ideas together and the sort of style and stuff like that. So it was really, it was an amazing process for me as well. Because again, like you say, you don't normally have that. Like as a director, two directors working side by side, unless it's like, you know, the Safdie brothers or whatever. But what was...
I could not make a film with my sister. I love her.
But your sister was in the show.
Yes, that's another story.
Yeah. What I think I've mentioned this to you, not struggled with, but it was like kind of hard to let my baby go when it was time for Mounia to direct their episodes. I was kind of like just hovering because I was also like a producer on it as well. So I'm just there hovering going, how's it going? You know what I mean? But didn't want to sort of interfere, you know?
Yeah.
But he was doing this, like, I think that's why I went from thinking I'm not interested in TV to I actually am, because of how he designed it. Mm-hmm. It felt to me like we were two people creating a world together. And obviously I liked the world that was initially there. So that's why also it was easy for me to be like, I'll take care of your baby and I can work within this language, because there was a lot of things in common in terms of taste. And it was really nice because every episode defined a little bit more the form. So there were these rules that we created, which was the chaos in the kitchen, people who are in this colder lighting, people who would never be together in one same space in this kitchen. And then you go into the restaurant and everything is a bit cleaner, more stable, more colorful, like this fake mask of that. Yeah. And these were the rules, basically. So within those rules, we had a lot of fun, and every character defined the camera language then in each. And that was really nice.
Yeah, I guess it's what we've talked about. It's the trust. Like you trusted each other and you respected each other.
For sure.
Totally.
And like, totally. I remember when Boiling Point was, the TV show was like coming together, because I've worked in telly for years. I was like, yeah, Phil, this is not what happens. Just find your block directors, give them a bit of prep, you build the world. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and they were treating it like an indie movie,
which is brilliant, but it's risky. It's really risky.
It is, yeah. I think it is, but like if you do find the right people and everyone's on the same page, I think it's important that everyone has the same vision. Because if they don't, and that, I don't just mean the directors. I mean,
the BBC as well had to be on board with it. Yeah,
and we were lucky, very lucky.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience for me as a first time, because then, you know, they corrupted me in a way, because I understood that that's really special. Yeah. So I will, whenever I do TV, I'm chasing this feeling of a team that is really all about building a language together and being a family, and they kept doing it, and I think it went quite well for them to continue doing it in that way.
Yeah.
They've had some success.
What were you doing last week?
Last week.
Where were you last week?
Yeah. I was at the Golden Globes.
Where is the Golden Globe?
Where is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't got one yet. So they send it to you. So you only get given one on the day.
Yeah.
And then they send you Yeah, the other ones.
Where are you going to
in
keep
the
it?
post.
In your loo?
Probably in Kiki's
So you can
bedroom
give
with
it to
the other
me.
ones.
I can look after it if you want.
Yeah. It's so heavy.
also
The Emmy, by the way, I've got
great.
an Emmy as well. Got two.
Here we go.
That was oh god, that was no, it's really heavy. The Golden Globe, like, yeah, might do a bit of working out with it.
We need to.
It's also like
Shit, yeah.
it's so moving to see those people on that stage, because it's important to mention that Boiling Point was also your first show as a creator,
Yeah.
and all of that. So it was also a new thing for you, and therefore it all felt really genuine and authentic, and everyone was trying to invent something new. That's why it felt special.
Oh,
And so it's-
also just to say, like, because I think Mounia and I have got similar backgrounds. As Mounia was an actor, and so she comes at it from that perspective as well, you know.
Yeah,
and I think we have similar sort of ways in that we look at things, you know.
Yeah.
She's a fucking good actor as well.
Oh, yes. So we've been seeing in your new
Yes.
film.
Yes, I recently acted in the feature, the third feature of Cyril Heiris, who's a very close friend, who wrote the role thinking of me, and I think that helped me a little bit, because in the beginning I was like, no way, I'm not fucking up your first, because it's his first fiction. He had done
Yeah.
documentaries, and I was really scared to fuck it up for him, because I know how important that film is. But he, like, we both did this thing where he's like, okay, I'll keep looking and you keep reading the script. And we found each other halfway, because I was like, okay, I think I really want to be her and I want to give myself to her. And he felt like he couldn't stop seeing me in her. So it was a really good way to act for the first time in a film. And you know, as a director, like, our whole thing is we need to take care of other people's emotions. We need to be the ones answering all the questions all day. So being able for 2 months to just live and feel through this woman, and not be the one having to answer all the questions, but to kind of touch my own feelings, made me a better director, I think, afterwards.
And did you find it hard not trying to think, oh, you shouldn't be doing it like that.
Oh my
do
God.
it like this.
The first 2 days, I was like, the every single thing, like, I would be like, Cyril, that extra is looking at the camera. And then in the beginning, because he's my friend, you know, it's like you and me on Boiling Point. You'd ask for my advice on stuff, and me too. But there was a moment where Cyril came to me, he's like, okay, Mounia, don't worry, just let go. And like,
Yeah.
so after that, I was like, because before that it was horrible. I had to do, I couldn't help it, but he helped me to, like, really let go.
I had one.
And I'm gonna cast him in some.
No, but Mooni's already directed me as an actor
course.
in The Responder.
Yeah, it's true.
I had the moment like that. So it was me and Azuka Hoyle,
Yeah.
who's, you know, obviously a very good friend.
I think
we
fantastic
were
actor,
playing
yeah.
boyfriend and girlfriend in The
Which I
Responder.
find bizarre.
So did I.
I mean, me too.
yeah, it was bizarre.
Brother
Also,
and
not a
sister.
very healthy relationship, because
No,
he's an
that's true.
abuser in it.
Yeah,
So it's like-
yeah. But there was a moment when I remember we was outside the house, and Martin Freeman's there, and me and Azuka, we just have to sit there. I've just been beaten up. We just have to sit there, and Moonia's trying to figure out with Martin the blocking and stuff like that, and I'm just sat there in the rain. And at one point, Azuka goes to me. She could sense my energy, like going to go up and go. I was going to suggest, like, well, what if you were just to come around the side this way, and maybe the camera can be on this side. And Azuka just went, Phil, this is not yours. Just stay. Sat down. I was like, oh yeah.
It was interesting
be
because
so
after
Because we're so close as well. I feel
You
like
know, you could have done
Yeah,
it.
and we had that dynamic, and honestly, it was so nice to be able to have a director friend. So when I did The Responder, obviously, so I did season 2, and he had directed episodes in season 1, but he was in it as that character. So when we were in the writing sessions and all of that, when they told me that his character would be coming back and read my episodes, I was like, oh, that's gonna be fun.
I'm going to mess with it.
Yeah. It was really. He's a great actor. Like, he actually is.
Oh, thanks.
Waiting for a joke then.
No, he actually is.
No, I mean, it was just like, you know, there was nothing to really do except for just orient the intentions. But it was just like, because obviously that's why he's so good at directing actors, because he really knows what it's like to be in the skin of actors. Because I remember watching you during the prep, because I was upstairs prepping and he was shooting in the studio downstairs. So I would come down, hang out with him. And one thing that I loved the most about how he directs is how he kind of like stages a scene, but in a way that feels quite seamless. And it's just like because you love theater as well. There's something about creating a choreography that takes life from different directions, and that I feel like without your experience as an actor, I'm not sure how specific you could have been able to be.
Yeah, same with you as well. You know, watching you with actors, it's like you have that sort of empathy towards them. I think we know what it feels like, you know, to be in that situation, because it's such a vulnerable place to be.
Yeah, it's the most vulnerable,
you know,
person on set.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's so easy to miss, like, direct. Like, I remember in film school, some of the classes I learned the most from were directing actors. I had this amazing teacher called Adrian Weiss, who just spoke to us about the importance of directing an actor through the other actor. So it's like, I'm acting with you, and instead of thinking about what I'm supposed to feel, it's healthy for me to think about how I want to make you feel, whether I want to make you feel guilty or loved, or because then it helps the actor get out of their own self and get into a listener position, and it makes them more active. And I find that I started using that a lot while working with actors.
Yeah, I think because most actors, you sort of, well, and rightly so, you go into a thing thinking, right, this is what I've learned the lines, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to play it. And but if you just let that go and listen and put your attention on the other person and react, because in life you're not thinking about your next move, are you?
No, and you're constantly surprised. And
Yeah.
That's why kids are so good, because they surprise you and they surprise the adult that they're acting with as well.
How did Costa Brava, Lebanon come about? Like, how did that?
I was just thinking about Reem. You were talking about kids. I was like, oh, what an actor she was. And that was, I forget her real name, sorry, but the character who played Reem was...
It's twins, actually.
Oh,
There's two girls,
and
they're
that
called
makes sense.
Zeana and Jeanna. I was just with them over the holidays in Beirut. They're teenagers, and they dress like Billie Eilish, and they love
Really?
Billie. They're so cute. They're wonderful. I asked them, so what do you want to be? And Zeana was like, as a hobby, an actor, but as a main thing, I want to be a detective, and Jeanna wants to be a judge. I was like, that sounds great.
Wow.
Good luck in Lebanon.
Is that when you were shooting the movie, when they were
No,
younger?
that's now.
No, now.
Teenagers. Yeah. No, Sienna still wants to act. But basically, when I wrote this film, I really wanted it to be through the perspective of this kid, this 8-year-old kid. But then I realized throughout the writing process that it had to be the story of the family, and is a way for me to understand how each member of this family is contributing to the chaos or not. So I wrote a draft with Clara, my co-writer. I wrote one draft through the perspective of the mom, one draft through the perspective of the dad and the kids. So I wrote 3 drafts, and then the conclusion for me was, it's the story of a family, and it really needs to be that. But the kids, I couldn't find the kids. I saw so many kids. And every time someone would leave, I'd be like, yeah, they're adorable, but they are not this person. And I imagined for this kid like Mowgli from Jungle Book, someone
that's
completely
exactly what I was getting.
completely in touch with like nature and with themselves, and that had inherited the anxiety of their father. And one day, two blonde girls wearing pink sparkles with hair until here come in, and obviously no one took them seriously in a sense that they didn't look the part at all.
Right.
And then they came in, and their energy was exactly the energy of the character. And I fell in love with them both, because both of them had a side of the character that the other didn't. And then we just changed their look. Obviously, we cut their hair, did the bangs. I wanted them to have the type of bangs that they would have cut themselves. And the 2 girls really got in touch with that side of themselves, because I think they were dressing how that current phase of their life was. But and what I did is that I spent a lot of time with them analyzing their personality, and I chose which scenes each would play, and they both were in
that's
it.
smart. Yeah.
It wasn't for like kids shooting schedules or anything like that, because we had the time to shoot with one child, but it's just because I loved both of them.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
Did you have that in mind when you were going into it? Did you wanted twins?
Not at all.
Oh, okay,
not at
wow.
all. It's just they came in, they were twins, they were perfect. I was like, okay.
What a gift.
Yeah, well, they are such a gift. They honestly, like, I learned so much from them by just being around them. And because, as an adult, you start being quite fear takes over, no? Like, and they're so open, and I just learned how to feel again, being surrounded by them, and they were like the light of the shoot. But making the film was a whole thing.
Well, Cyril made the documentary.
Yeah, about the making.
Was that always a thing, though? Was that
no?
Oh, okay.
What happened is, so it was a co-production. You know, it was a participant in the U.S., MK2 in France, and Sophia. Basically, it was a co-production between Europe, the States, and it took a lot of time to kind of set up. And then the day after the green light of the prep was announced, there was the August 4th explosion in Lebanon. So that obviously was traumatic for everyone in Lebanon and in the crew. And Cyril, who has a tendency as a documentary filmmaker to always like observe things that are happening, he started observing Lebanon in the aftermath of that, where everyone was back in the streets, either cleaning or protesting or rebuilding. And his camera slowly landed on a film crew trying to make a film in the midst of all of that. And so the movie slowly became about the making of Costa Brava, but it was never meant to.
Wow.
And we were so focused, we didn't really realize he was here.
He was there, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Can we talk about, before you became this incredible filmmaker, what was... Like, did you always want to be a filmmaker? Like, what's the journey before Us and Boiling Point and everything else?
I want you to answer this question too, by the way.
Oh, we've done him.
Okay,
what, for you?
For you.
Oh, for me? Yeah. I don't know, maybe. You tell me.
I always loved films for sure. Like movie night at home with my dad and my mom was a thing. Even when they were not talking, like we were watching a movie together. And even with my sister, like it was a thing that we used to, it was the main activity at home, I think, watching films. And I always loved films. And I was like, obviously I was given a VHS when I was a kid. So my gifts for my friends were always to make little films. And it was just my way to express myself, I was a very curious kid. So I liked eavesdropping. I liked kind of like knowing everyone's stories, and I like to be a fly on the wall. I like to have answers to everything all the time, and films allowed me to basically observe people and understand them, because the films I liked were about, people who weren't always perfect.
Yeah.
So it made me understand the imperfect people in my life better. Because, you watch a film with a character that you love and then he messes up, and you realize, okay, good people can make mistakes, and you understand your own parents and things like that. But in Lebanon, like growing up in Lebanon, the film industry or the infrastructure, if you want to be a filmmaker, it feels like a bit of a crazy dream. You need to be an architect or a doctor or a lawyer, and then you belong in a way. So obviously as a teenager, I thought, oh, that's a crazy passion I have, but I'm not going to be that. I need a proper job. And my father, whose brother was a pianist, whose sister is a painter, who is an architect, like told me, like, it's great to have a passion and I will encourage you, but have a backup plan first so that you have something to fall on. So I studied architecture for 5 years. But because I was so angry with everyone for not letting me do what I wanted, because I had a passion and it felt frustrating to be having to work so hard for something that I love. I love architecture and I've learned so much from it. But it felt like I'm missing time. So what I did is I started taking acting classes in the French theater troupe in Lebanon. And every summer I would do a film workshop somewhere. It was my deal with my dad in a way. And that's how I met Cyril, because Cyril was a consultant in a consulting firm in the same situation as me, and I was in architecture school. And so we both started making films together just for fun. And with our camera, we were acting, directing, sound, everything. And one thing led to another. We made one short film that ended up being quite successful, that I was doing on the weekend, basically, in architecture school.
And at this point, it was like just a hobby,
it was
fun
just
thing
a hobby
that you guys did.
And that short film started my filmmaking career, because it was picked up by the Lebanese BBC, and then they asked us to turn it into a web series, and they also asked us to be in it because we were in the short film. And it was kind of like a Lebanese Friends in a way.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that show during the weekend, and it was on prime time before the news, and being
No
an
way.
architecture student during the
wow.
week. And that's when, like, when I graduated from architecture school, Cyril and I both moved to New York and did a master's in film at Columbia University.
Wow.
And that was the second big chapter of my film life, which is basically now I was studying it. And I couldn't believe it. The first day I went to classes, I was like, I'm in New York. I'm in this room watching someone talk to me about what I love the most. It felt like a dream. And those 5 years were really important for me because they allowed me to kind of like discover what type of stories I wanted to tell when I didn't have the self-censorship I had when I was at home. And my thesis from Colombia was Submarine. And that film was a huge business card for me because it went to Cannes, Toronto. It introduced me to the people who were then going to work on my feature film. And also it introduced me to the filmmakers like Clara or Francisca or Cyril that would basically be my main like partners, my creative partners throughout the years after. Yeah.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
I want you to meet Clara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love to.
And then once you finished film school, what was the plan? Were you going to stay in New York? Because obviously that's such an iconic, place to make movies.
Oh, it's an incredible place. It's so like you're inspired constantly. But for me, it was also, this film school was really international. So I had in my screenwriting class a brilliant Icelandic, Norwegian, Egyptian, screenwriters. I was just surrounded by brilliant people who came from all over the world, and it really enriched me as a writer as well, to be reading other people's work and to be receiving feedback from someone who has a completely different experience. After that, I stayed in New York. I continued writing and working there, and one of the after traveling with Submarine, I started writing Costa Brava, and I did the Cannes Film Festival residency in Paris for 6 months for that, and I did the Sundance Labs.
Wow.
Which was probably one of the most beautiful months in my life, which we can talk about, because I think the Sundance Institute has created an environment that like makes young people feel like anything's possible and that they can dream and that stories matter and they can change something. Even if they can't change the world, they can change how people maybe feel or think. But I want to know what made you fall in love with filmmaking.
Well, from a young age, I guess, I basically used to work. My family business years ago was market stalls. We used to sell shoes on Grady Market, and my auntie took me. I think I was probably like 12. Took me to see to the Granada Studios tour.
Wow.
Which is like, you wouldn't know Granada Studios. It's basically ITV now.
Yeah.
But it's where like Coronation Street used to be filmed, and so they had the studios in Manchester, and you could go on the tour. And she took me there. It's like a really bad Universal Studios tour at the time. But I
Universal of the North.
Universal of the North, yeah. And I went there, and you see like behind the scenes and how everything's made, and I was just like so like. It was just, honestly, it changed the way I like, look at things. You're like, oh, it's not nothing. It's not real. What you're watching, like, there's like, this is a set.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's nothing behind there, or you know what I mean? It's just made out of wood or whatever.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then I watched my favorite film is The Goonies, and I remember.
I know that.
Yeah, everyone knows it. And I got the VHS of The Goonies. There was like a bit at the end where it showed you how they made it, and I just remember being like, "Oh wow, that's someone's job. Just people do that for a living. I want to do that."
Yeah,
And so that's I think, but I didn't think, oh, I want to go into filmmaking. The only way in for me was to be an actor, because, like, truthfully, I was like, that's the easiest way to get in.
Yeah,
I don't want to have to go to study, because it's just, my brain was like, I was like, I want to be in this industry now, and I want to do it now. And so I thought I'll try acting, and then that's how I sort of got into it that way. And through that, you fall in love with the process and you know, not just wanting to be an actor, but like wanting to understand how it all works, and that's kind of how it happened for me.
And when were you a chef in the process?
I was a chef because my acting career didn't go down as well as I'd hoped.
Yeah.
And I needed to make some money. So I was like, you know what? I'll do that. I'll work in kitchens because it's creative and it's kind of better money than than working in front of the, you know, in as a waiter or as a bar person.
When I was shooting Boiling Point, I was still teaching in New York, so I would go back and forth. And one thing that I realized I could provide the students beyond showing them my favorite movies and you know, the French New Wave and Antonioni, is giving them real life examples. And their questions were often, how did you know what story to tell, and how did you start? And I spoke to them about Phil a lot. I was like, what made Phil's, you know, career pick up in a way is telling a story that's set in the world that he really knows.
Yeah.
And the short film of Boiling Point, I think when you write something that you know, then every experience that you've lived through will just contribute to who you are as a person. And I loved using that example of a guy who basically told the story that he knew, and that's why people connected to what he had to say, because it came from a really, really authentic place. And it kind of like validates every experience you've had, because it defines who you are and what's your story. And the Boiling Point story is a really exciting one because of that.
No, absolutely.
Okay, you've turned this round.
I know, I feel like you're interviewed.
Back to you, Mounia. Enough about me. Jeez.
But that's another thing that we have in common, is that the whole like him from Liverpool, me from Beirut. Like when I watched the Jade Franks play, I was like, it obviously I connect with it because I was a Lebanese in New York studying at Columbia, and she's a scout in Oxford.
We've all been an alien somewhere.
Yeah, the fish out of water thing.
Where we feel like we don't belong. No.
I'm telling you, I had a feeling when I saw them on stage at the Golden Globes that I would get if it's someone from Lebanon. You know, it's just this feeling of like the fish out of like the small fish, big pond thing, and just like being your authentic self, but in a different world. And I think that's what's inspiring, because I struggle a lot with directors or filmmakers who create a persona that is not theirs in that industry, because I don't find that inspiring. What I find inspiring is being you, and that being the thing that makes you kind of
unapologetic as well about it. Yeah.
And of course, where I'm guilty sometimes of being a people pleaser, and I want to learn more how to give less fucks basically about everything, because the more people you want to please, the least amount of people you will please. But sorry,
you can't please all the people all the time.
No.
Yeah, you drive yourself insane.
And Mooney is basically like an adopted Scouser as well.
I know.
She's been in Liverpool more than
I'm an honorary Scouser. I have the pin.
You have. Sean Fagan gave you a pin.
I love that. Can you do the accent?
Yeah, go on,
on me, Sean Fagan. When I started, so when I did my Zoom with him, I was like, okay, great. Like, I understand him, obviously.
Yeah.
But then he started introducing me to the actors he had already cast. And one of them was Sean Fagan.
Sean Fagan.
And Sean, I love talking about the backstory.
You'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Yes.
That ever was.
Robbie's up there as well.
Oh, Robbie is, yeah.
Yeah, by the way, Robbie, who was
Robbie O'Neill we're talking about,
Robbie O'Neill, who was a collaborator of Phil, was my acting coach on that movie I acted in.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He was a lovely, lovely human. But anyway, so Sean Fagan and I started collaborating. So I was prepping while he was shooting. So I was writing with them his backstory and like developing things together. And one day he sent me the 6-minute voice note. And I was in the car with Phil's brother.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, like now it's a different situation completely. Now I can, I can speak like him maybe. But that day I was like, I looked at your brother and I was like, I don't think I can direct this man. I have no clue what he's saying. I have no clue what he's saying. And we spent half an hour in the car with your brother translating Sean Fagan's voice.
Does Sean know this?
Yeah, of course.
Well, he
knows.
does now.
Yeah, he does
but now Sean says, no, but I wasn't articulating right. So it's not. But now, of course, I understand it. But also
Didn't he teach you some Scouse
Yes.
phrases? Go on.
Can you remember then? Can you remember?
Chicken.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
classic.
a good one.
And the can of Coke thing, I lost a bit.
Yeah.
What was it?
What was it?
No, that's Scott. Sorry, I can say Spice Girls in Scottish.
Oh, yeah.
Did his
Space
teacher
Skittles.
that?
I forgot what there was a phrase that he taught you, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
I've got a video of you doing it, and I can't remember.
Around the bend.
Yeah, she's around the bend there.
She's around the bend there. But I can work on it better. No, but I think that there's some. I find myself really safe and comfortable around people from Liverpool because they're just what you see is what you get, and there's this warmth and this honesty and this lack of, like, with me anyway. I know there's shit people everywhere, but basically, like, just this feeling of like I don't have to think twice before speaking, and yeah.
So you recently did House of Guinness.
Yes.
How was that? Doing a period
That was so
piece.
fun.
with Louis. We
Yes.
love Louis.
Louis Partridge.
And Emily.
Emily Fern.
Now, is this the third time you've worked with Emily?
Yes, she's a little bit of a muse, I think, because Emily was.
Emily Fern.
I was
amazing
Emily
Scouser.
Fern, Scouser, fantastic actor. I remember, obviously, when I did Responder, the second season, there were casts that I inherited from the
course.
first season.
She was brilliant.
Oh, she's so
amazing.
brilliant.
She's amazing.
First day on set with her, I thought this person is, I mean, she was made for that. She, as a person, the level of empathy and lack of narcissism that she has as an actor, like the generosity, every take is a complete surprise, and she just cares about acting and she cares about the character. And as soon as I finished working with her, I thought, this is not the last time I'm working with this person. And I got to really know her because, you know, when you get really close to someone, I think after every shoot, you kind of leave with a couple of people that you think they're going to be part of my life. Like on Boiling Point was, you know, in part Izuka Hoyle and Phil and Stian Hanna. And I think like on Responder, two of the people that like I got really, really excited to work with were Josh Finan and Emily Fern, who I didn't know anything about. Obviously, there's a lot of people on this team that I really enjoyed working with, but I knew that I was going to work with her again. And what happened is that while I was doing ADR for Responder, I was in conversations with the Netflix team for House of Guinness. And one day she came into the ADR session and told me, I just taped for House of Guinness. And like right away, I emailed everyone in the team saying like, I'm so excited that you're seeing this person. She's absolutely fantastic. And obviously they had loved her. And so everyone had loved everything that she had brought in that room. And it's just seeing her in that role in House of Guinness just confirms that she's a total chameleon. She plays Anne Guinness. In Responder, she plays this person who has stolen, I don't know how much?
A crackhead.
A crackhead that had stolen, what's the amount of coke that she steals in season one?
I can't remember. A lot of coke.
Yes, and so basically, like she does each of them with so much genuine delivery, and so anyway, so I was really, really happy to be doing House of Guinness with her as well. And then after that, I did a show with A24 where I directed all 6 episodes of this show that's set in
which is probably out now by the time this comes out.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I think around late spring or June.
okay.
We'll see. Yeah. It's a show written by Leo Reich, and he's in it as well. And when we were casting, obviously I was part of every stage of that process. And I told the team at A24 and Channel 4, I know it's not obvious from Responder and from House of Guinness, but you have to meet Emily, because I knew Emily so well by this point. I knew this role was for her because of her, Emily, in a way, like, because it has a lot, you know, I knew that it was a role she really would have liked to play. So I called her and I told her I would love for her to come in. And as soon as she left, everyone was like, she's incredible. She has such great comedic timing. And Leo fell in love with her so much that he rewrote the role for her. So he rewrote the role for a person from Liverpool in London.
Oh, she plays Scouser. I love that. I love that.
It's, you know, I thought it was the perfect opportunity for us to kind of bridge a gap between the character and her. Of course, it's a fictional character. It's not her life, but it has a lot in common with what her and I have been through, which is to be in a new place, but coming from another place that we're homesick of all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, Emily is a lovely, lovely person. And yeah, so Phil and I worked with actor like Louis Partridge was in House of Guinness and in Enola.
Yeah.
And yeah, working on House of Guinness for me it kind of really like satisfied the little girl in me who loved those worlds in cinema, like the period world and the scale of it. But it also, like, as an adult filmmaker, a filmmaker I really admire and that continues to inspire me is Jane Campion.
Yeah.
I think Jane Campion knows how to tell a story that's completely timeless, and the period element never comes in the way of the intimacy and like, it feels very small and it feels very big. So when I read the scripts of House of Guinness, I really fell in love with the scripts that I was meant to direct, 6, 7, 8, because I felt like they were taking the characters into a very, it was going from the big to the small, and it was putting those two face to face. And I just thought with Joe Side, it was the cinematographer who shot Costa Brava, was like absolutely
I love him.
fantastic.
He's amazing.
He's so great. Like I had him, and so it was him and I in that world, and everyone just gave me the creative freedom to do what I wanted to do within that world again, and I just felt really, really happy about doing that thing specifically, which is how to be really intimate and really modern in a way, and raw, but in that world that is surrounded by people who are all about wearing masks as well. And so I had a lot of fun. When you have more toys and you have a bigger team, you just have more room to play, really. But it doesn't change how I am as a director.
Because obviously I worked with budgets and that was my background.
Yes.
I've worked with some of the most incredible filmmakers who had nothing and made something incredible from nothing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of filmmakers can get complacent when they get more stuff because they think, well, that's gonna look better because I've got that fancy crane or these expensive lenses and I can have an army around me. And you think, well, no, creating something from nothing is what makes an incredible filmmaker.
Absolutely. I think it expands your imagination to have to think. But this is why I think people who, in the House of Guinness, for me, I was like, it doesn't matter how many toys I have. What does the story need in this scene? Because one thing that I took from architecture school is this, like, form follows function, and I feel like the script should tell you how you should design your frames in a way, and in this case it was like, yes, there is this big world, but there's the cracks in it, and you need to do the same process of like, okay, why am I telling this? Why I have 2 cameras, but why do I need 2 cameras or not? Yeah, because Joe would prefer not having 2 cameras because then he can light for that frame, and the more things you leave off screen, the more you're asking of your audience to think. So it's about how to not fall into a language that is about over informing your audience, and how to leave things off screen and tell a story with the camera, not cover a story.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing about, because with adolescents, for example, I think of course we've seen long takes and it's not like a new thing, but in this specific thing, what was exciting about the long take is that it made you think about what has happened off screen. And it constantly makes you think about what's not in front of you. And that's so scary, because I think that's why people that know nothing about cinema or about London or about Liverpool were really fascinated with this show, because it made them think, shit, what would I do if I was in this situation? I had people, because people know that we know each other, I had people who I haven't spoken to in a really long time reach out to me after Adolescence came out, friends of mine that I went to school with who recently had kids. Like, it really opened up a conversation about what would you do in a situation where you never thought you'd be in that situation. Yeah. That's so scary. That's why we watch films, because we want to see other people be in situations we don't want to be in.
Well, yeah, mate, it's thought-provoking, isn't it? And it's like, because the truth is, you could be in that situation at any moment. Do you know what I mean? And I think, I love watching like documentaries for that reason. It's like it's real people in real life situations, and you're like, oh my God. You almost feel like, sometimes you feel, I don't know, everyone feels this, but like you almost feel like removed from stuff like that. But until it's like, it could happen to you. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's
Have you ever seen it? Is it Prima Facie? I always say it wrong. Prima Facie.
Have you
ever seen that?
No.
I saw the stage play when Jodie Comer did it, and it's exactly that. It's whether she's a lawyer, isn't she, trying to get rapists off?
Yeah.
And then she gets raped, and she realizes the whole way that she's been like attacking the victim is.
It changes the perspective.
She reacted in the wrong way, and she could have been taken down in exactly the way that she reacted to the thing happening to her.
I was desperate to see it when it was.
Well, it's going to be a movie now, isn't it?
It's a movie now, but also she's on tour.
Yeah, it's great.
With it, I met the producer last week, and I was trying to see if I could go, but because I won't be around, so I can't see it. But yeah,
but it's exactly that. You think you're going to react in a certain way, and then you don't, because like just human nature takes over. It's quite scary.
It is scary.
Yeah,
it is scary, and that's why we make art, isn't it? You know what I mean? To be thought provoking,
because it's so easy to be in a binary world where everyone is guilty, and I just feel like the gray areas is what cinema does, is like looking at those gray areas so that people can be a bit more understanding of other people's experiences.
Yeah.
And are there any stories that you're desperate to tell, or like that you've not explored yet? Are you looking for like, oh, I'm desperate to do like go completely out of my comfort zone and do like a musical or like animation, or is there anything that you're like, oh, I'm desperate to do that?
Yeah, I'm really interested in how genre does exactly what we were talking about. For example, when The Staircase, that documentary.
Oh yeah, I love that.
God, yeah.
And also like I think when you look at films like Anatomy of a Fall, or films like The Guilty, or the type of films where you have a character that is themselves confused with what's happening to them, I'm really interested in using genre to talk about to look at a worst case scenario or extreme case scenario of a topic I'm interested in exploring. This is why I'm interested in true crime very much, because of that, because it's people in their like most heightened state behaving, and they're and of course a character behaving when they're drunk or something, that's not interesting because they're not, but it's more like a person that is completely conscious, and what like the world of mental health, I think, is something that is fascinating to me. In Boiling Point and in Responder, I spoke a lot about male mental health, and I'm really interested in the film I'm currently writing in exploring like female desire in the aftermath of trauma and mental health in a world that basically tells you to just keep it together. And what that does to love, because I've always also growing up, like some of the films that were my into cinema were epic love stories, and I really want to tell a big love story and tell it in a way that feels really like that only a woman who has experienced a specific thing could tell, because I think that's what's great about cinema, is that every person can be the only one telling a certain story. And I just want to connect to the things that I feel I can tell. So the world of mental health, female desire, using genre, whether it is the one of ghosts, because I think what's beautiful about the ghost genre is that it's someone that is still here because there's something that they haven't let go of. And I really love that, because I'm a person who struggles to let go, and so I find myself really drawn to that genre because of that, and true crime because of what I told you. And honestly, I'm just trying to tell stories that feel that they're like scratching the surface of something. I never thought I would be interested in, for example, this or that. It's just I'm trying to find stories that speak to things that I feel are dangerous to speak about, at least for me, so that when it feels scary, it feels like I do a better job. What about you? What are stories you're really, really excited to tackle as a producer?
I think as a producer, there's no specific stories, but I'm quite excited about telling things in a different way. That's why, like I've spoke about finding like new filmmakers who are finding different ways to tell stories. So we're not reinventing the wheel here. Like there's no new stories, but that's why Boiling Point I think did so well, and obviously Adolescence did so well. It's like there was you told those stories in different ways, and that's what excites me. It's like my job is a facilitator, so trying to find those incredibly exciting people who are thinking outside the box and being the person who helps them do that really excites me. So it's just as long as I relate to a story and I can find something I can attach myself to in a story,
Yes.
then it's like, right, what's an exciting way we can do this?
Yeah.
What's different? Because otherwise this is just going to look like every other story that's like this. So that's
And the thing with adolescence is it's a why. It's not a whodunit.
Yeah,
It's
which
a
is
why.
perfect.
And that is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think, same for me. It's like, I'm drawn to documentaries as well. True crime, love true crime. But like, I think for me, it's like putting the ordinary person in an extreme, extraordinary situation,
Yeah.
and how they deal with that. Because that's again the question you ask yourself is like, how would I deal with that? How go on, you ask.
I was
No,
about to
sorry,
ask a question.
no, go on. You're the host.
I know. We're both the hosts. Shut up. What are you most proud of?
In life.
Anything?
I mean, not in death.
Wow.
It's dark.
The sleeping pill.
Oh, come on. Let me just explain
let's
this story.
tell this story.
That is an ordinary person in an extraordinary situation.
That's a movie right there.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I wasn't in the situation. I just found out later on. So, Mounia came to set when we were doing Boiling Point, and she was very sleepy. And I just was wondering why. She had loads of coffees and Red Bulls.
It was very uncharacteristic. I'm very bubbly.
Odd characteristic. I was like, is she all right? I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, turns out she had a headache or something and you wanted to take paracetamol. But instead of taking paracetamol, she took a sleeping pill.
And I don't
Just
take
before she
sleeping pills, so it really had an effect on me.
Who gave you the sleep? Who do we blame him for this?
No, it was her own sleeping pill.
Someone had left a
before-
sleeping pill in my little box in the apartment hotel I was staying in. And I woke up at like 5 a.m. I have a headache. I took it and I took 2 because you take 2 paracetamol.
Of course.
And I'm a person who sleeps really well, you know, so I don't need sleeping pills. So, and I get in the car and I'm like, my eyes are not opening. I don't know what's happening to me. And then probably your brother helped me figure it out.
Yeah.
And I got to set and I told everyone, I think I accidentally took 2 sleeping pills. I'm not able to stand up. And I have a huge scene to direct with like 50 people. And oh my God. I was like, I'll let you tell.
No. That was it was just funny. Like,
were you there that day?
Yeah.
Did you have to kind of co-direct a bit?
No, I didn't. Did I?
No, I was like this. I was sitting. Everyone
she was
kept
fine.
giving me coffees, and there were Diet Cokes, and people were shaking me. And I was like this. I was like, action. My brain was awake, but my body was not.
Yeah.
And it became a funny story, but it was like the worst day of my life. I was like, can you imagine? I'm here with people I barely know. The director is asleep and cannot wake up. Because there's chemicals.
Wasn't your first day, was it?
No, it was the first day. Can you imagine? I'm like, she hates this job. She's just not interested whatsoever. Yeah.
But one thing that I loved about actually speaking with my sister earlier, like there was an episode in which the restaurant hosts a wedding because they need the money, and it was a British man and an Indian woman, and I told Phil, like, I feel like I can tell the story better if the woman is Lebanese and I can tell a mixed wedding. And he was like, of course, make it yours. And at that moment, I always was dreaming of bringing my because I think my sister is a natural. She has nothing to do with the industry she works in. She's an architect and now works in sustainable development. But I really wanted an excuse to cast her in something because she has a natural talent, but I never had the excuse to do it. And it was a very small role. So I basically got her to tape and send the tape to the casting director amongst other people without saying anything. And then they all really loved her. Like, who is she?
She looks exactly like Mounia as well.
I was
like,
say.
But she has blue eyes.
Yeah.
And then when everyone mentioned that they really liked her, I was like, that's my sister. And then she ended up coming, and it was the perfect way for her to see what I do by just being in it. And she plays the wife and who's getting married in that little scene.
She was brilliant. She was brilliant.
Oh,
But that wasn't the day I was asleep. No. She would have, because she's very tough on me as well. And she would have thought, that's not okay.
That's hilarious. I love it. So what are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? I think I'm proud of the human relationships in my life that feel like they've been building over the course of many years, and the types of friendships and that become like family relationships where, we're really here for each other and we really elevate each other's work. That's on a human level. I'm really proud of having found time despite my career to really be present with the people who I love, because I had a moment in the beginning of my career where I had no sense of work-life balance at all. And I'm proud of having found space to be here for the people that are here for me, etc. As a filmmaker, I think what I'm most proud of is, I don't know. It's hard for me to think that. What are you most proud of?
No, this is yours.
Deflect.
I think I'm proud to, as much as I can, I'm trying to stay true to myself and in the choices I make to try to keep, true to what I believe is the right way to make things. And I think you're also defined by what you say no to. So I think it's important for me to, in the future, just be really, really disciplined about what I say no to and really intentional about what I do. And so I think I'm proud of what I want, but I'm still I don't think I've achieved, I have a lot that I still want to achieve. And
you should be proud of the work you've created so far, because it's exceptional, Mounia.
Yeah. Thank you. You too.
And do you have any advice for filmmakers, aspiring and in it now?
Find your people and be here for them. And look at Matt and Phil, they met when they were really young. Cinematographer, GP.
He was really young.
You were young too.
I was younger, yeah.
With Matt,
Matt was 8.
With Matt, let you tell us the
I don't care whether he'd let us. I'm going to say it anyway.
The nickname you gave him.
Nickname that I had for him for a long time. I can't do it now because he's now a grown man.
Well, now he's a grown up, so it's fine.
Yeah.
When
we first met, his nickname was the Cinema Toddler. You'll hate that.
I know we will.
Sorry, Matt.
We love you, Matt.
Yeah,
well, Joe's nickname was Lady Gaga. It was Diva. Because we were like, you're such a diva. It's not true for either.
No.
Either. I mean, yeah, definitely finding your person, your people. And I don't like always saying that because sometimes you struggle to find that person. So I think it's the same way I had Joe shooting my short film and then my feature film, Phil and Matt, having a person that you can grow with and that you could also step away from. Because now this last show I did it with Matt.
Yeah.
Boiling Point together, and that was lovely. I think finding a person that you can grow with and that that you're walking through life together, but also getting out of your comfort zone and not always sticking and welcoming new people into your life as well. But I think the most important thing is, as much as you can, welcome chaos and tell the stories that only you can tell, really. And as a person from Lebanon, I'm used to chaos. I'm comfortable in chaos. But then as an adult, you start being scared of uncertainty. And I think my reminder to myself is always try to swing like a tree and try to let things take you, and don't try to always control everything, because it's the moments in which I stepped out of the control that I met new things that were important to me. So to find your people by also being very giving, and to just try to think what it makes you and how can you tell that specific story, because we spoke about how that really
I think that's amazing advice. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably why you two have done the exceptional work that you have, and it's been so different, because only you could tell that story, only you could tell that story, and it shows.
What are you excited about?
Yeah, what's
the
coming
future?
up? Tell us what you can.
Yeah.
I'm excited, I think, because one thing about working in the industry is sometimes you feel like you get this really intense experience and then you move on to another one. And what I like the most is what you carry from one into the other, and reworking with people that you love, and that growth, which makes you feel like it's not a temporary thing, but it's a long-term thing. So I'm definitely excited about creating new things with people that I've loved working with.
Yeah.
He is one of them.
Likewise.
To try to find basically stories that really matter. I'm reading a lot of books. I'm writing my second feature film, which I'm really excited about. I'm basically excited about continuing to tell stories in cinema and in TV that feel like important to either tell or to either be part of. And I'm also excited about life things.
Yeah.
And because it feels like when you work too much, then you lose touch with life. And if you don't live life and the negative bits and the positive bits, then you can't grow as a filmmaker. So I'm also excited to live things and good things and bad things and figure out how that will help me grow as a filmmaker and all of that. What are you excited about?
Our new show?
The new show, yeah.
Yeah, once we get to New York eventually.
Yes. Excited about that, the future. I mean, it's interesting you say about that work-life balance, because I find it, like, I struggle with that. Like, that's something that I need to work on.
I feel that's a really interesting thing to talk about, because when you do podcasts and interviews and all of that, everyone is always talking about their achievements, but there is a price to those things as well, and it's also about the moment you realize that and how you, like, for you, for example, what are things that you've learned about work-life balance, or what are things that one day you woke up and you're like, okay, that needs to change, and like.
I mean, spending time with my daughter, giving her being present when I'm with her, it's like, it's really hard, because it's not a 9-to-5 job what we do.
Yeah.
If you're passionate the way we are, it's not, you can't just switch off on a Friday and go, right, I've got the weekend now. Some people can, but, Sam and I run a company, and we've got like people that we work with us, but also like the projects that I'm working on and future projects. And the way my brain works is I am constantly chasing. And I think, in fact, this year, and Stephen Graham is like obviously one of my closest friends, but also a true like mentor, in a way that he has got his shit together in a way that he is quite inspiring. And so having, speaking to him and about like being able to just go, you can just stop and, switch off from work side and take care of yourself and look after yourself. And I think that's I am looking forward to that this year. For the first time in my whole career that I've been directing, I've always just been constantly moving forward, trying to chase the next thing. And it actually just this year, I've realized I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky and very grateful for that. But also, I probably could have done that years ago, and nothing would have changed. Maybe it would, I don't know. But in my mind, I'm like, oh God, everything's going to fall apart. And I still think that every day, because it might. But being able to just go, take time for yourself, and you don't need to be chasing constantly. That's just the way I've always been. But yeah, I'm looking forward to like a bit of peace.
I don't think work-life balance exists. I think it's a term that has been created to make people feel bad about one thing or the other. I think for me, like, I know that when I'm in a headspace where I've got to focus on work, my personal life has just got to take it for then.
Yeah.
And I know in the back of my head, I'm being a rubbish daughter, rubbish sister, granddaughter, niece. I know that, a crap friend, but I know at some point that's going to lift, and then I can make it up to those people. And I've got I've got amazing people around me who understand that my job gets intense, and they won't hear from me for a bit, but I just check in with them every now and again, the odd text, voice note, and I'll come back and I'll be fine. So I don't think it exists. I think sometimes you've got to be 100% present there in order to get what you want from that, and then you can come back to your personal life. And if you've got the right people around you, they get that.
It's about being present, really.
It is about present in whatever that you're doing. And I think if you're just honest with people and go, look, I'm sorry to be selfish, but I just have to get this thing done. That they'll get it, because everybody's got their own shit going on. It doesn't matter what industry you work in. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm lucky. I'm not saying I'm lucky, but I haven't got any kids, so like I can be incredibly selfish. That's a choice. But like I've got friends who don't have that luxury and can't be as like full on with their job because they've got a family, and so I just think, well, I'm in a really privileged position, and I'm going to take that time now where I can and give that bit my all, and then I'll make it up to my friends and family when I've got the time. And
it's like there's not that structure of like, in a job where you've got 9 to 5, you get your holidays, you get a certain amount of holidays a year, so you can plan. Okay, that's when I'm going to spend time, or I'm going to go on holiday or go away or something. But with our job, it's like it's kind of unpredictable, right?
It
but
can
if
be
you
so-
can carve those, because when you overlap from a project to the other, then you're not present in either.
Yeah.
Whereas when you say, okay, like I learned something from the editor, like I'm working with now, like every day, like he goes on a walk at some point in the middle of the day, at the moment where I'm like, no, let's do frame fucking now. Like, like remove this tail and this head. And he's like, he forces me to kind of stop and just go for a walk. And that's a thing that has changed my life, because I can very easily just stay there. And in my creative zone, I'm like, no, at 6 p.m. I'll leave. But this disconnect, you go, it's like you put oxygen into your brain and you come back with more. And I try to apply that now every now and then. Like, for example, on the weekend now, I don't look at emails if I can.
Wow.
And that's so new to me.
Yeah.
And
What's that like?
it's amazing, because I come back on Monday morning really like fresh and really like, and it allows me to be in the present on the weekend, and I feel like I have more energy on the Monday. And it's little things that I started doing that
That's important.
make me feel like I'm more present in wherever I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes a lot of discipline, because my sister or my friends who are not in the industry, it's creative for them, those holidays. We need to be very disciplined about doing that.
And that's what I'm trying to do this year. It's like, but it's hard.
Easier said than
Yeah,
It's
of
easier
course
said than
it's
done.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. We need to do that mental health walk again. Remember when we did that in lockdown?
Stephen
used to
Graham
do-
is so good with that, by
He
the
is
way.
amazing.
Like, I remember, like, when we were shooting Boiling Point, obviously, he was so present with me. He was such a wonderful actor, like, to be working with. But then, like, I remember, because we were staying in the same hotel, he was always also at the gym, in the steam room. And then he always had a moment with his wife, Hannah, that was, like, about love and about being together and being parents. And I can see that he had there's compartmentalization there.
Yeah.
But I always felt when I was with him that he's all mine.
Yeah.
He's all here. He's
100%.
all present.
Yeah.
And that's great. Actually, the problem is when you're doing everything at the same time, then you're doing nothing. So and sometimes I'm that person where I have 70 tabs open there, and I'm like, and I'm doing all of them, but I'm achieving all of them, but I'm not enjoying any of them.
Yeah.
So this is the hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I feel like we've got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get a therapist on this podcast.
Maybe we should.
I think this
Maybe
was a
we
bit of
should.
therapy for me. I'm not going to lie.
To join the Going Road Club, we
Yes.
need you to tell us about a film or a TV show or both, something you come back to time and time again that people wouldn't expect. A guilty pleasure, if you will. No cool answers allowed, please.
No, I'm not going to say Paris, Texas or anything, but
Yeah.
I love Jaws. I mean, I think it's a fantastic
Oh.
film. I love it because it's a lot of fun, but it's also just such a perfectly written script.
Yeah.
So it reminds you of the beauty of classical storytelling and just, flawed people again. And definitely I would be useless on that boat, completely useless. I love My Best Friend's Wedding very much.
I love that.
It's just a joy to see a character, and Julia Roberts. I think it's such a modern like rom-com in a way, and it's just so nice to see her fuck up and to love her despite that and because of that. Recently I watched at the Prince Charles Cinema Moonstruck again, and it's just so fun.
What about TV?
TV. I grew up watching Friends and Sex and the City, and I know that like people who didn't grow up with that are a bit like, what's wrong with you or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like really when I was a kid, like Friends and Sex and the City was my way to both of them completely unrealistic portrayals of New York, having lived in New York. But at the same time, like I learned about sex and things like that as a kid by watching Sex and the City, and the characters in Friends and their chemistry and the way they use humor. It's just I feel like they are people I know because of that. And so sometimes when I'm on the plane or when I'm at home and I just want to disconnect, I go back to that because of this nostalgic element. But I also loved growing up Grease and Saturday Night Fever, and I was obsessed with
Grease?
John Travolta.
Which one?
The first one.
Oh, yeah. Sam's favourite film is Grease 2.
Oh.
Oh.
Don't take pity on me. It's the best one.
Oh. No, I mean, yeah, it was weird for me because I was so obsessed with Greece,
Yeah.
the first one. The two was like, what are you?
What are you
Who
doing?
are
Yeah. Why? Yeah.
And where is she?
Yeah.
Of course, also Ace Ventura. I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the
my
mask.
God.
And and it
90s
was so
comedies.
like speaking about getting out of your comfort zone. Like I remember when, you know, Jim Carrey was the mask and all that. And when I saw Eternal Sunshine, I was like, oh, the joy of watching someone do something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Which one?
Eternal Sunshine.
So good. I love the lo-fi. Like just again, like talking about the fear of losing someone, and that the memory of that breakup will haunt you forever. And like I'm always worried about how can a breakup not affect my ability to love again.
Yeah.
And I was going through a horrible breakup when we were doing Boiling Point.
Oh, yes.
And I remember that, like, actually that shoot was so meaningful to me because they hugged me without realizing. Of course, I didn't tell anyone, but having that family, like, be here for me at a moment where I was feeling like, and it's so how
Took
why am
sleeping
I
pills
talking
to get over it.
Self-medicating
That's
isn't the
why.
answer, Mounia.
Why am I talking about this? Oh yeah, Eternal Sunshine. Yeah, like the how can you erase a memory? But at the same time, it's that memory that makes you able to break patterns.
Yeah.
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 Truman Show is another good Jim Carrey
Oh,
film.
Truman Show, but that is too good. I'm not going to mention it.
No.
as part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these films are
Very
they're
relevant
very-
as well, actually.
Yeah.
What?
Very relevant.
The Truman Show. Oh my God. I remember after I watched The Truman Show, for some reason I watched The Truman Show and What Lies Beneath. You remember What Lies Beneath?
Yeah.
At the same time, and toilets, like bathrooms, became such a scary environment for me because I was worried that there were cameras in the mirror
Oh
of
my
the
God.
bathroom, and also that there was a ghost in the
Yeah.
bathtub. So I was like,
It's all a simulation.
She didn't go to the toilet for weeks.
I showered in the river.
Oh, thank you
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
coming on, Moons.
Oh.